Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I believe it's a holiday too. What day? What holiday is it? President's Day? Something like that, right? Welcome to a very, very special live that we have going on here. If you don't know me, if I'm streaming on somebody else's platform and you don't know who I am, don't worry. Who you're here to see is going to pop up here in a moment, I promise. So we are here to talk about the really cool, really exciting first ever Enchanted Cosplay Getaway, which is a cosplay makers retreat heaven. And so we're going to be coming on here very shortly and introducing to you all the teachers that we have with us coming to this event and our co-host Famore, which we've got Sebastian on to talk about that. So we are going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up Sebastian from Famore.
Hi, how are we doing?
I'm good. By the way, this is like flip camera, so you're on my left side.
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
I'm
We're super excited, by the way, to talk about this and get as much information out there about this Enchanted Cosplay Getaway.
Yeah, so this was a love brainchild, I think, from your side of the house at first, correct?
Yes.
You want to give us a background on that?
Yeah, we like historical places, and we went to the Biltmore, and we thought, what a beautiful, absolutely amazing place. Just the grounds, the gardens, everything about this place is just absolutely grand. And we thought, how many cosplayers are out there that would love to actually have a photo shoot out here, but also learn some new things, right? Like, let's do the two things we really love, which is cosplay and education. And who doesn't like to wear their cosplays in historical places? So this kind of popped up, this idea, and we talked to Kayla about it, and Kayla just kind of ran with it. And here we are, like, finally it's happening.
Yeah, I love it. So, quick note, if you're trying to watch this and you're using a link that's bringing you into StreamYard, go ahead and head over to one of you can head over to my YouTube channel, which is Sew Magical Expo. You can head over to Casey Renee, or you can head over to Instagram and you can follow this on our Instagram lives across any one of our platforms, it looks like, and you'll be able to watch it from there. So if you're getting kicked out of the StreamYard studio, that's why. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a really fun and exciting, full pack, jam-packed 3-day event. And we're going to go ahead and introduce all the teachers first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's involved in actually coming to this event. So I'm going to bring up all our teachers. First up, we've got Cowbutt Crunchies over here, Reagan and Scone, and then we've got Pros and Cons joining us as well. And then we've also got Casey from Casey Renee at Cosplay. So hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. I also have one more teacher that isn't able to come on just yet tonight. If they can, they're driving back from KatsuCon, and that's Sew, and they'll be teaching as well. But we're going to go ahead and go around the room and introduce everybody. So first up, we're going to introduce Pro and Con. So Pro, you want to go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure thing. Hi, all. I'm Pro from Pros and Cons. I am the older twin of our duo of magicalness. We've been cosplaying, I think we did the math, and we're at 20 years. So super exciting. Have really just enjoyed being part of cosplay in a variety of ways, from running shows to competing ourselves to building, and just all the wonderful items of being part of cosplay. Had the opportunity to do a few workshops in the last couple of years as well. So it's super exciting to partner with you lovely folks to put on some educational opportunities for folks to learn to do new and exciting ways to cause chaos in crafting.
I love it. Love it. All right, Con, what about you?
So that was well said. Yeah, I'll just kind of mirror that. I'm the younger twin of our duo, and we've been cosplaying for about 2 decades at this point, so we've seen a lot of different things, both good and and mostly good. And I think, again, opportunities like this to be able to learn about crafting will help you not make many mistakes as you go forward. But sometimes, getting your hands dirty and doing things is a great way to learn. But when you've got such a great all-star team of instructors that are really passionate about the cosplay community as well, I think this is an awesome opportunity to just be able to, again, make some cosplay crimes, do some cosplay shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. All right, next we're going to move on to Cowbutt Crunchies. So which one wants to go first? Go ahead.
Oh, you're muted, Scone.
Scone's muted. So you go first.
Oh, so I go first. Okay, wow.
That's fine. I was volunteering you to go first anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I actually am going first. Thank you. Very nice. Hi, I am one half of Cowbutt Crunchies. We have also been cosplaying for probably about 2 decades now at this point. And I don't know, for we just kind of fell into doing workshops and tutorials and things. I think just because after a period of time, you've made so many mistakes, and you want to show other people how to not make the same mistakes and fall into the pitfalls that you have. And we just kind of naturally started writing tutorials and guides a while back. And now it's just like a huge part of what we do as cosplayers.
Yeah, yeah. I always make a lot of jokes during my classes that it's essentially like, I messed this up. I messed this up. Now you don't have to. Which is a nice way to bring positive out of the many mistakes. But we are super excited to teach. I'm super excited for the Biltmore, and I'm like trying to figure out how to also go to some of these classes like when I'm not teaching. So I think the programming is going to be really good, really cool. Like a lot of different stuff's getting covered, which so I will also be a lesson. A student. I'm like a lesson learner. That's not the word.
I think I also really love this kind of format where it's really small groups of folks, because then it is really like a fun retreat where you're just seeing everyone all weekend and hanging out even outside of classes. And it's just it's not just very educational, but it's very social, which is my favorite kind of cosplay. So I'm also very, very excited for this.
Awesome. Thank you. And then last up, we have Casey.
Hi. I have not been cosplaying for 20 years. I do have 10 years.
You would never know.
I got a decade. Well, like 12 years now. But no, I've been cosplaying for a while. My journey started a little different. I decided to live stream. And then when I realized I was taking breaks from actually doing things to teach, I was like, maybe I should make tutorials so that I can just drop a link and not actually like step away from the thing I'm working on over and over again. And I found that I liked making tutorials better. And so I just kept doing YouTube, and now we're doing workshops, and that's even more fun because people can be like, I didn't understand this from your video, but now I get it. And I'm just like, yes, because sometimes we need to learn things multiple ways. But yeah, I like making things, and I'm actually like excited for the social aspect too. I feel like from doing the Sew Magical Tennessee, how like everywhere you went, everyone got to see each other, like dinners everywhere. And I like that idea for the cosplay community as well. We already do that. Like we already run into each other when we go get coffee in the morning or when we're like getting lunch or dinner. And so it's kind of fun to like have it a smaller group where we might actually remember everyone's names, maybe. I won't. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. And I also want to take some of the other classes.
I highly anticipate seeing each one of y'all sneaking into each other's classes.
Yeah. Is it sneaking if we're talking about it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Well, I will say this, and I don't know, Sebastian can fill in on this as well, is the amazing talent of what we have in this room right here that's coming to teach is just mind-blowing to me. And not only are they educators, you know, and showing their work online and going out to events, but they've been teaching in person as well. So you're getting experienced teachers who know what they're talking about, both from experience and also just the hands-on aspect of having taught already, and being educators or being ambassadors for maker education as well. So I'm stoked. I might, you know, tell Sebastian I'm going to disappear and go hide in some classes as well.
I think we're all going to try to take classes during the event. Yeah, I've had a great opportunity of working with everybody here in different capacities, but the educational part, I mean, just seeing how you all work in a classroom setting is a lot of fun. The few times when you see me run into a classroom, usually a little haggard and scared because I forgot something, I do see you guys kind of like all the students there just having a great time. And then afterwards, all the thank yous and everything. So you guys really do some amazing work that we're excited to bring and keep bringing in the future.
Oh, yeah. All right. So for a little bit, I'm going to drop the cosplay teachers down to the bottom. And Sebastian and I are going to talk about what's included in the ticket. So we'll see you in a little bit, teachers. Bye. Oh, if I can figure out, there's a faster way to do this, I'm sure. There we go. I figured it out. All right.
Eliminating everybody one by one.
There you go. Like one by one, we're all dropping down. All right. So real quick, we're going to talk about what's included in your ticket. And if you have questions, please comment wherever you're watching this as we go along. We will try to answer it. I'm not sure how Instagram's kind of new to this world for us. So I don't know if we're seeing Instagram comments, but I am seeing YouTube and Facebook comments. So wherever we can get those in, just let us know.
There's Instagram comments. I'm watching ours.
Okay. It might be on the individual channels. So if you're watching from Instagram, teachers, if you could keep an eye on your Instagram channels to see if maybe there's questions popping in, and you can pop it in the private chat so we can try to answer those as well. So there's a lot including your ticket. And we have two ticket options. We have the all-inclusive option, and we also have the bring your own machine option. So if you're taking sewing classes and things like that, you want to bring your own machine, you're more comfortable on it, you're okay with traveling with it, bringing it in, you're going to save some money. And so there's two ticket options right there. Now, what's included is we have this amazing hotel. It's the Embassy Suites. It's a brand new hotel. It just opened this year. So it'll be like a fresh car smell, but a hotel version. So at this hotel, you get free made to order breakfast every morning. And each evening, most evenings, they have complimentary evening receptions, which includes both alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. And occasionally there's some hors d'oeuvres and such, which is really fun. It's a great way to mingle with folks at the hotel, explore the hotel and all that. And what's really great about this location is if you go to the very top, there's a bar area up there that you can overlook the mountain scenery and everything. It's an amazing spot to kind of just view everything. So what else is included is a welcome party with food and a cash bar. So the food is included. Drinks are on yourself. That's both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. And then you also get 2 classes included of your choice. The class signups we can go over later in the evening, but those are there are instructions that have been posted on social media, and anybody who signed up got an email on that as well. If you get the all-inclusive ticket, you get use of all of our machines that are needed for the classes. And then anybody that's participating in classes, we have a slew of tools and things that we are providing for you that you can bring less things in your suitcase to make in the classes and more room in your suitcases for cosplays that you will bring and or walk away with. You will also have open sewing and crafting times. So the classrooms will be open. At times, there will be teachers or myself walking around that can help you. You can work on projects. You can bring your own projects to work on. And it's a great time to kind of mingle with other folks. Oftentimes, we will open the air walls between the classrooms, make it one big open communal space where everybody can kind of mingle and just hang out and see what each other's working on or help each other out. The other thing is we have the access to the Biltmore Estate, and we will talk more about the photography related to the Biltmore Estate later in this live. But everybody will get a ticket for one day where everybody will have access to go. We have set that up with Biltmore. We're really excited about that. Biltmore is excited to see everybody come, whether you come in costume or not. It's up to you, but it's a really great opportunity to take photos on these amazing, beautiful grounds and around the buildings. And also you can do a self-guided tour as well, which is included in that ticket. There's going to be pop-up shopping. So I know myself and Famore will have some really fun goodies for sale, as well as a couple of our teachers. And Cut Sew is going to be bringing patterns. I know Cowbutt Crunchies and Casey, Renee Cosplay, all have amazing books and really fun things for you to peruse. So there's going to be some pop-up shopping on a couple of the nights. You also have access to discounted hotel rates, so much cheaper hotel rates than what the public gets. but those will be available to you. And we also will have one special nighttime party with more details to come on that as we get closer to the event. So, am I missing anything, Sebastian?
Have
Or not?
we discussed the shuttling, getting people back and forth? Because we
Not yet.
talked about, you know, that I believe is included as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have the ability to drive yourself between the hotel and to the Biltmore estate, because that isn't walking distance, it is about I would say what, 10-15 minute drive-ish.
Yeah, it's a big estate, and so just getting
To get to
through
the
the
front
estate.
of the
Yeah,
estate.
well, you can get to the front gates, but just to get to the actual house, it's a bit of a windy road. So yeah, we're taking care of that, making sure that we can get you to the front there, and they can walk around and do what you only have so much time to take pictures, so we want to make sure that this is as seamless as possible,
Exactly.
getting to the estates.
Yeah, so we try to think through as many things to make your lives as easy as possible. And the best part is this is in downtown Asheville, so in walking distance are a ton more other beautiful locations around the town with really great scenery or locations for you to take photos of your cosplays as well. The other great thing about Asheville, like downtown Asheville, is I walked around with um, the vacation bureau that's there, and we found a bunch of little shops. There is one that's nothing but fiber arts and wool spinning and all this really fun stuff. There's apothecary shops. There's really neat little shops all around the town. So lots of areas for everybody to kind of go and explore as well in their own free time. And it's all walking distance for that side of it if anybody does not have car transportation.
Right.
Yes, and
Right.
lots of room for people and their gowns.
Yep.
I saw somebody comment on that. So that's all I think I had to say. If anybody has any questions about what is included, we try to jam pack as much as we could into the ticket cost as humanly possible here.
Right, right. Yeah, because like with the classes, there's a lot of materials that we're bringing and making sure that it's you show up and everything is there for you as much as possible. So that's kind of the idea behind this kind of retreat style that we're trying to create here.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I don't see any questions popping up. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over and we're going to start talking with the teachers about their classes. And we're going to go down each one of their classes. So I'm going to bring all the teachers back up. Look at this. I'm going to get faster at this, I promise. Bam. You're in different orders now. But we'll go ahead, and I think I put them in order too. Let's see if I did this right. All right, let's see. All right, so first up is Casey. He's going to talk about couture sewing techniques.
Yeah, so this class is basically all of those hand sewing techniques that you see people use, but maybe you've never actually gotten to try to use. If you've seen any of the work that I do, there's almost always some kind of hand finishing somewhere. And so I'm going to teach 4 hand sewing techniques that can help you just kind of elevate your costumes. But also for those of you specifically looking for historical sewing, I will be touching a lot on techniques used in the 18th century and Victorian era. So that's what that class is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And next up, we've got Pro with the casting call class.
Hey y'all, I got real punny with these titles, so thank you for putting up with it in advance. So Casting Call is a 2-part workshop to really get folks kind of that sort of initial hands-on experience with casting materials. I think a lot of folks are a little bit nervous about working with chemicals sometimes, so this is a nice, easy way to kind of get introduced into it. We'll be making mushrooms and other sort of like woodland type items using some of my favorite products coming from Smooth On, both the casting agent and then also Smoothcast 3000 and then also Dragon Skin to make the molds themselves. So should be a really fun time. We'll, again, spend some time learning to make molds, popping out some mushrooms, and then painting them to your fanciful heart's desire.
And I do want to make a quick note. This class is a 2-part class. So it's on 2 different days due to the process of making everything. And so we just want to make sure that anybody that did sign up or is going to sign up is aware of that and does sign up for both parts of it. The total price of those 2 sections equals the total class kit. So don't worry, you're not getting overcharged or anything like that.
Yes, everything comes with it. All you need to just bring is a willing body and mind, and yeah, everything will come with the kits.
Beautiful. All right. And then next we have Con with Smock and All.
Hello, also down the pun train. That's how we roll here in the Midwest, y'all. We love a pun. But yes, Smock and Awe will cover smocking, which if you don't know what that is, it is, let's call it 3D fabric manipulation. It is like geometric pleating. And so it's a really great way to add some additional texture and just some visual interest to your cosplays. Depending on the type of smocking that you do, it can also function a little bit like elastic as well. So we're going to make some cute decorative pillows. Your whole kit will come with the fabric that's needed to do that. I'll have some great tools and resources for you as well that you can check out. And we'll just make some matte magic and some pleated deliciousness together. By the end of it, you'll be able to leave with your own pillow. You'll get through the different techniques. And smocking is something that looks complicated, but it's really not. It's really just kind of more patience than math and complexity. So hopefully you all will really enjoy that and get to leave with your own little pillow.
And I love that this is a very old school technique that is brought back to life, but also allows you to literally create your own fabric.
It's very true. I have a cosplay god complex. I don't like being told no, and that this is not going to happen, or this is difficult. So if you can just make your own, the more that you can do yourself, the more control you have. And that just makes me happy as a type A person. And again, I think smocking, right, is an old school technique that you can use for modern applications such as cosplay, you know, fancy dresses to comfy pillows to this scarf I smocked as well. So you can use all sorts of applications for this one. So yeah, come join me.
Cool. All right, next up, we're back to Casey again.
All right. So for this class, you're going to learn all of the basics of making a petticoat, but you're also going to get to build one layer of a petticoat, not a full petticoat, like a quarter scale. So I guess if you have a kid, you can make it for your child. But anyway, so you will actually get to build like the petticoat. So you have an idea when you go home and you decide what are your favorite petticoat making techniques, how to actually build it, as well as getting to play around with different feet and organza, get a little bit comfortable. It will be an organza petticoat, but I'll still talk about tulle and things like that. But it's going to be a fun class. And yeah, everyone hopefully will leave feeling like they can make the fluffiest petticoat ever. Please tell me if you do, actually, because I would love to see it.
And I think this is great because this can go between historical costuming all the way to, you know, ball gowns, princess vibe. There's so many varieties of foundation that this can go towards.
Yeah, we'll focus on modern, but the techniques can be applied to like any like 18th century, Tudor, Victorian. They can be applied in a lot of areas, and they can also be applied for skirts and dresses too. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have a blast.
Yeah. Next up, we've got foam work.
All right. So this class, I wanted to offer something that was kind of beyond the basics of using foam and making flat objects. This is more for folks who want to kind of elevate their foam work and really add that detailing and texture and organics to your piece. So we're essentially going to be making a sampler of different ways for how to achieve that. So we'll be doing kind of more common things like using wood burning tools, embossing, but then we're also going to get into a bit of using molds, and then a pretty good portion of the class is actually going to be about organics. So that'll be manipulating foam clay, my favorite techniques for that, and just kind of going over the idea of adding depth and visual levels to your pieces.
That's so much jam-packed into one class. I think a lot of people are also afraid of trying foam if they're very much on the sewist world. So this is a really great jump into it to get like a little bit of every skill possible.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that intermediate folks will learn a lot from here, but I think if you're a beginner, you could also jump right in.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So next we've got Scone with the first corsetry class that we have available. Are you on mute again?
I keep muting myself because I don't want the cat to be screaming in the background.
I think we should have the cat screaming.
Yeah, she's very annoying. So this class is, I think there's a lot of interest in doing corsetry related stuff at cons, but I've said for a long time, like, oh, it's so complicated. Oh, it would take such a long time. So I'm really excited for this retreat. I feel like this is finally the perfect opportunity to do some like in-depth corsetry stuff, where, you know, we can do a lot of the guidance. So this is sort of a part 1. There is a part 2, but you do not have to take them both if you are more interested in the patterning, which is what this is going to be. We're going to go through proper ways to measure ourselves. We're going to measure each other. We're going to look at like how to read corset patterns, how to grade between sizes. Very few people are one size all through their body. And essentially everyone should be walking away with a pattern that they are ready to go home, cut out, and put together that should fit them, instead of having to puzzle out all of that math and all of that grading by themselves. And if that's where you're happy with, that's great. Or, you know, you can bring that pattern to the part 2 class as well.
I love this so much because as a very, very short person myself, I'm 4'9". Even wispy corsets don't fit me properly.
It's that length. It's that bust to waist length.
Yes.
And then waist to hip. It's complicated. Yes. There's a lot of measurements.
There's a lot. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And that's what kind of makes corsetry kind of daunting. It's supposed to fit you a certain way. So I love that there's a very introductory level class that y'all are offering to allow people to jump into it and get over that fear of just trying to make a corset for the first time.
Yep.
All right. So next up, Casey with fabric layering.
All right, so this is for basically learning how to flatline, for doing applique and reverse applique work, and also attaching lace. And all of this is going to be done by machine. A lot of it can obviously be done by hand, but I want to teach some fun ways that you can do it by machine, that you can speed up the process so that you're not like kind of stuck like hand sewing, I don't know, like 10 yards of 6-inch wide lace trim onto a gown. That takes forever. And so that's what this class is going to be. And then also I want to talk a little bit in this class about insertion lace, which is another like historical costuming technique used in the late Victorian era, Edwardian era. And so I'd like to cover that as well. It's also used in heirloom fashion, so it can be used kind of more than just cosplay. But yeah, that's what this class is. And also, you know, it's just a fun way to get to manipulate fabric by machine versus not just by hand, which is a fun juxtaposition to the couture class.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think this is really cool because I've always wanted to try playing with all these laces and the pretty frilly things that are at the stores, but I just never know how.
I got you, boo. I got you.
I'm going to sneak in everybody's classes at this point. All right. So next up, we've got embossing for boss builds. We really went with the whole fun thing, didn't we?
I just, you know, once you're on the fun train, you can't get off. It's just, it spirals forever. So thanks again in advance for putting up with my punness. But yes, embossing for boss builds. I love this panel because embossing is one of my favorite ways to manipulate fabric. And so from this workshop, you'll get 2 different ways to experiment with embossing. One through embossing velvet, and then the next method for embossing pretty much any other fabric that kind of has some level of heat resistance to it. But it's a great way to add some dimension, some texture to your fabrics. It's also a great way to add some additional visual interest if you want to make your character have glyphs, if you want your character to have runes, or something that would just kind of look cool to kind of bring that character to life in your fabric choices. This is a really, really great way to add some of that. So we'll definitely be getting to play with lots of cool materials to achieve this look. And you'll also be able to walk away with some just like little tangible swatches of both. So it should be a lot of fun.
Very neat. Yeah. And this is another technique I think that has been around, but just a lot of people don't understand how they can get incorporated into your cosplay. So another just amazing class idea. Now let's get into wigs. We've got a couple wig classes. So the first up here is wrangle that wig.
Well, we have alliteration this time, not a pun, so that works out. So for this panel, it's like an introductory to wig styling. We're going to go over cutting. We're going to go over shape. We're going to go over some of the basic styling tools. We'll go over some gentle spiking as well. I think one of the things that I hear about a lot at conventions and through other cosplays is that they're just terrified of styling their wigs. But it's a really important component of your costume. It kind of brings the whole thing together. Personally, when I'm putting on my costume, I usually don't feel good unless I have my wig on. And I'm like, okay, we're done. It's complete. So knowing how to style it and being able to sort of wrangle that, plastic nonsense that's going on your head is a really great way to build your confidence as a cosplayer. And again, really complete the look. And so we'll go over those techniques together. So that way you're not, scared at home trying to cut your really expensive wigs. We'll do it together on a practice wig. We'll go through all these different techniques and hopefully you will, won't have that fear anymore and can tackle that element of your cosplay with confidence.
This is one of the classes I'm sneaking into because I'm afraid of wigs so much. Y'all don't even understand.
It's okay. It's okay. We are not going to let some plastic scare us. But truly, yeah, I think it's one of those things where people get scared because you're cutting things apart, much like cutting really expensive fabric. If you chop off a bang the incorrect direction, sometimes it ruins the wig. But wigs are actually surprisingly forgiving, and you can actually do a lot to sort of unmuck up your mistakes. So we'll go over some of that as well. But there's quite a few wig panels that are going to be at the event, so hopefully you'll get to go to a couple of them.
Okay. Next up, we've got gold work.
All right. So for those who don't know, gold work is a traditional embroidery technique. And instead of using beads, we're actually going to be embroidering with metal threads. And the end result is these gorgeous, very heavy feeling pieces. And this is another one of those things that sounds really ambitious and some people are afraid of it, but it's actually very approachable and very beginner friendly. So this is going to be a course where we're going to touch on the basics and a beginner friendly introduction to padding, comparing metal threads, and what kind of designs you can use to create a small sampler by the end of the class. And if anyone enjoys beading, embroidery work, anything like that, you're probably going to love gold work.
I just love that. It's another very old school technique that we're bringing back to being just cool again and using it in this very modern, fun way.
You would be surprised how much gold work has become the hot thing in cosplay lately.
I've heard that this class for you sells out at quite a few conventions, so I'm excited to see all the folks fill it up in this one. All right. Next is our second corsetry class that's available.
Yep. So this is an unofficial part 2 to the other class, but if you do not need help with patterning and you are just interested in construction, feel free to come. We are going to walk through not constructing a full corset because that could be a weekend all on its own, but we are going to put enough of one together for you to take that sample piece home and say, okay, this was step 1, this was step 2, this is the boning, this is how I do the finishing. We're going to essentially walk through a fourth of a corset step by step together so that you are prepared and ready to go home and create a full, complete corset for yourself.
And I would say this is probably the most important part of learning corsetry too, is in this section here. It's like the big fundamentals that you would need to be able to walk away with.
It's, there's a lot of, corsetry has a lot of, we use tools, we use hand tools. There's hammers in this class. Oh, yeah. So I think for people who are really into sewing, it's a little hardware heavy the first time you're looking at doing a corset, but we're going to talk about what everything is, what everything does, and really just debunk the scary parts of it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun to break away from the sewing machine and grab the hammer and just go at it.
With the grommets, just bam. It's very noisy.
Oh, very. I love hearing the classrooms that are going on with all the hammers. All right, next up is Casey again.
Okay, so I'll be doing Introduction to Tambour Embroidery. Tambour embroidery is another fairly old embroidery technique that includes thread work, bead work. You can also do gold work with it. I won't be teaching that in this class. This class is about the basics, so you'll learn the basic stitch that you need to start a project, to apply beads, sequins, and then also to like wrap up or finish your project. You won't make anything in class, but you will get to leave class with a kit to be able to work on at home. It's just like each of these kits take like 8 to 10 hours to do. So I'm sorry, we cannot make a whole bug in class, but you get to take one home with you. But yeah, I'm excited for this class. This is my favorite class to teach. I have spent a very long time with this technique recently. No, not at all. But no, I love it. And this is also something that's used on Broadway and in the film industry. So it's not just something that like cosplayers do or historical costumers do, but it is actually an industry technique, which is really cool. So yeah.
And it's a great thing to go to the open sew crafting later or take back on the plane and kind of just sit there and you can mingle with people while still doing that. Because I know you've talked to me several times while you're still, sleeping away.
Just tying knots,
Tying knots.
Chain stitching away.
So next up, we've got advanced wig styling or ventilating. We have no puns this time.
I know. Yeah, I know. I failed on this one, but next time I'll put it up. So this is a panel that will discuss ventilating. If you don't know what that is, it is the process of adding additional fibers of hair to a hairline, back of the neck, to create a more realistic hairline, typically on lace, to create a lace front wig, if you're familiar with that term. It's a pretty advanced technique for wig styling, very time consuming, but again, it really helps you get that more natural looking hairline. It's great for if you buy a wig that already has a like a piece of lace in front of it to manipulate it so it's more custom to your head. I have a big head, so I always have to customize my wigs, especially the hairline. It never quite goes down far enough to cover my sideburns. Or if you have anime characters that have like super crazy, like Vegeta here, looking hairlines, this is a great technique to utilize for that. Again, to get a more natural looking hairline. So together we will tackle this beast as well.
I was always curious how this is done, and this is one I'll just sit in the back of the room and be like, oh, okay, I got it now.
It's great for if you want to listen to TV or need to get through an album or something, and you're like, all right, let's go.
One by one, we've got this. All right, good to know. All right, next is another extreme wig styling.
So this one's actually my favorite class to teach. So have you ever looked at a wig or looked at a character's hair and you say, that has simply too much hair? That is more hair than a person has any right to have. How on earth do I do that? This class is very specifically on how to make extreme wigs, which means something with extreme amounts of volume, extreme shapes. That could be spikes, that could be swoops, just anything where you need to have some kind of lift or some kind of volume. And that's the technique that we're going to do in this class, which, while it is technically an intermediate technique for folks who want to advance their wig styling skills, as long as you are an ambitious beginner, this is also very beginner friendly. We're going to be going over how to tease up these shapes and also how to introduce a lot of volume through our teasing. So these two are kind of examples of what I'm talking about, but you can really apply this to any super volumized or floofy, spiky shaped wig.
I'm still mind blown about the fish jumping at your hair.
That's not hair. That's a wire. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the swoopy part.
I just still think it's super cool that just the way that you manipulated the wig to look like a wave and then thought to add the fish. The creativity is always mind blowing to me.
Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, we've got intro to leatherworking here.
Yeah, so this is another hammers heavy class. Leatherworking is really cool. It's really fun. It's one of those crafts that the equipment and figuring out what you need to do and what you actually need to buy, and it's daunting. It's daunting to just say, oh, I want to try one piece of leather. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a bracelet. And we're going to, start with just plain leather, and we're going to go all the way through putting a design on it, putting coloring on it, like finishing the edges, making a wearable garment that you can walk away with, that walks you through like the basic skills of leather work, so that you aren't Googling like beginner leather work and it's like buy $200 worth of equipment before you even get started. No.
Yeah, no, let's not
We're
do
going to
that.
work on the basics. And it's a great cosplay, belts, bracelets, armor. It's really fun. I like it more than foam. So we'll, Regan and I will be in competition, I guess.
Ooh, we should see who takes both classes and have like a whole poll. I also am a big fan of leather work. I do it a bunch at home myself. So this one was like, can we add leather? And y'all said yes. I was like, yay! Made my heart happy. So just so y'all can kind of see, this schedule is up on the website. It's on our social medias as well. And you can kind of see what all the classes look like, where everything's kind of flowing, where open sewing time is, where we suggest that you check into the hotel on Thursday, and where our welcome reception is, Biltmore tour times, all that fun stuff. That's all kind of built into the schedule. There's a lot going on. And so again, we try to jam pack as much as we could into this 3-day weekend to give you the most out of it all. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go over Q&As real quick, because I see a couple questions on my side that I was going to answer. And if y'all have seen any questions on your Instagram, we'll go through those as well. So real quick, I got one that asked, is there airport to hotel transportation? We don't cover any of that transportation. However, if you're lost at any point and need some assistance on getting from the airport to the hotel, please just message support at sewmagicalexpo.com, and I will make sure to figure out something that'll get you in there, that we can work something out. I do know a lot of people as we get closer to all our retreats on that Facebook group, people start talking, saying, I'm coming in at this time. And a lot of people will carpool together. I personally drive in. I know a bunch of people do. So it's a really great community. So I'm sure at some point we can make sure, if you need assistance getting into the location, to the hotel, wherever it is you need to go, we'll figure out a way. So please don't fear. We got you. But it is not covered in your ticket cost. There was another question, and this is outside of my realm, but it says, is there a thought about a Discord channel for ticket holders to coordinate and meet in advance? And I will be really honest, Twitch and Discord and what's the other one, Sebastian, you were telling me about? Reddit?
I don't. Reddit is
Reddit.
a place.
Reddit
Reddit is a place.
I'm living in different worlds.
Don't make a Reddit. Don't make a Reddit.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But I know there's all these different ways people communicate for cons. And I'm not savvy on those, so I'll let y'all talk about it.
Yeah, there's we're still trying to figure out shoot. I have it right here. What was it? Discord? It's something that like I still struggle with. So
okay, good. I'm not the only
one.
one.
Set up a Discord for you. I'll just set up a Discord for you.
I mean, I have a Discord. I use it. It's just it never works the way it should.
So I feel like for cons, a lot of people do it through Facebook, and then a lot of people do it through Discord. It's kind of splits the audience for who uses what, because I know some people have one or they don't have the other. Like if the Facebook already exists for Sew Magical, I feel like that's already, like, folks can join that group.
And we have the Facebook group for the Enchanted Cosplay Getaway too. That's like the platform we were trying to gear everybody towards, if we can.
And if you don't have a Facebook account, do what I do and use your partner's Facebook to do things on Facebook.
So you'll never
find a friend.
Fashion posting in there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, right. I don't exist in Facebook, but I have a Facebook that I can do things with.
Yeah,
okay,
I feel like a lot of people have moved towards Discord, though, just because you can do these kind of what's essentially breakout channels, and then so it becomes a more social chit-chatty thing. We can
In
talk
the
about
future, I
after
believe
this.
that Discord will be included. It is something that I have messed around with enough times. But for this one, folks, just give us a little bit of time. We're aging out of technology a bit ourselves. So
Is that what the issue is, Sebastian? Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So somebody asked, I'm curious why the price point is set the way it is. Even the bring your own machine cost is so much higher than any other cons, trade shows, even retreats. So I will say this. We're and Sebastian, you can chime in on this, whatever you want, but we're very unique in the fact that we're not in the convention world, nor are we in the quilt show sewing world. We're trying to exist in this space that lives in between, if that makes sense. And if you've gone to, so I'll say this, my world is very heavily in the sewing quilting world, and retreats to go to those are $1,000 plus per person, not including your hotel and your travel and everything else. Whereas in the convention world, it's the opposite. It's fairly, the ticket costs are usually cheaper on that side, and then your classes, like everything's kind of ad hoc, add on as you want, a la carte mode. Here we're trying to find the fun middle ground to meet the middle for both the makers in both the realms, to be able to come to that and include as much as possible, but make it as affordable as possible. And that's why we also had the payment plan options as well, and try to include classes, but also give you the ability to take additional classes if you wanted to. I don't know. Sebastian, you want to chime in on that?
Absolutely. It's a fine line when we do workshops, just because materials costs, and we want to make sure that the educators are also covered in their time. All these folks here are experts to us, and experts need to be fairly compensated as best to our abilities, right? So yeah, the costs are as much as we could take on ourselves. So like Kayla and myself come with a slew of materials already. We've been building what we call our evergreen materials. Kayla has a bunch of machines that she brings to the shows. We're talking to a store that could potentially bring more machines as well, so we can have access to that. I've invested into a bunch of Dremels, and we have all sorts of things that are evergreen, but then there are things that are consumable. The wigs are a one-time use, you get to take it home because you've already used it, There's definitely a lot of consumable stuff that just gets used up. And as connected as I am in certain industries, I can only get things at certain price breaks as it is. And trust me, we don't pay retail for anything. We try to really bring down those costs as much as possible. And so if you see our scissors in the classroom, you know that like the cost for that wasn't so bad. But things like smooth on is crazy. Even like if they give you a price break, that's casting material is so expensive. It's crazy. But this is stuff that we believe in bringing to everybody, this education, because it is expensive. Why not take a class that entry, is not buying that material, using it incorrectly, and it's a complete waste.
I hope that answers the question. I don't know if any teachers want to chime in on how much their cosplays cost, because I think a heaviest part of it is the materials more than anything else. And I think if you cosplayed and made your entire cosplay at least once, you will understand that each piece is not cheap.
And I'm concerned.
I also just think this is going to be a small, cons have a pricing point that is helped by volume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also building an intimate experience where you are getting a lot of one-on-one with everyone there. So it's just a different environment than a con.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, when you go to a convention, they're expecting, 20,000 minimum people, and that really helps with their prices.
Yeah.
I will say that because I run a convention. I apologize for the barking. But I run a convention, and it's for sewing and crafting. Oh my gosh. It's for sewing and crafting primarily, but I'm not a big quilt show. It's sewing and crafting. It's small. And I will say this, it's very hard from a small convention perspective to keep prices down, but give that big convention feel. So yeah, it's totally the same thing. We want to give that very all-inclusive feel. You're getting a lot for what you're doing, but also keeping it intimate and giving you the best that we can. And this is our first year. I did see a really fun comment. Somebody was asking, I'm so sorry for whoever woke up their dogs too. I'm so sorry. Somebody asked that they said they're bummed that they can't go. They hope this is a yearly thing. We hope so too. We're really hoping that this one goes really great and successful, and that we can bring it back again next year and do something fun with it again.
Yeah, we'd love to travel to other really great locations as well.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so many, picturesque locations in this country that we can go to and learn some cool stuff, and also get some, make some memorable experiences and get some awesome photography at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, we got another really good Instagram question over from Cowbutt Crunchies side, and it says, may I ask how we can enter the contest for the pass? So we've run the contest once before in conjunction with Holiday Matsuri. We do have the winners from one other cosplay contest who are coming. We haven't decided if we're going to do that again before this event or not. If we do, we would announce it on our social media channels amongst myself, Sew Magical Expo channels, Famore, and then sometimes if the teachers are able to, they will share it. But I would say go to Famore and Sew Magical for your main source, or the Enchanted Cosplay Getaway Facebook group is the main page. So if we do decide to do another contest, we'll put it there. I will say this, if we are able to do it again the following year, I know that there's at least 1 to 2 conventions that have already said they would be happy to have this as a prize again for them, or for the first time. So just kind of keep an eye out for stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. When I was in college, certain couture sewing classes were not available to people that were not in fashion design program. That's really sad. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think some of y'all do the classes that you do and bring them, is because it's not readily available to the masses. I mean, can any of the teachers speak on that? Anybody want to kind of talk about that?
I think there's I think the reason why these classes tend to be so successful is that there's you do learn watching something on YouTube. Watching someone go through the process, or reading someone going through the process. But having a teacher actually there with you to guide you and kind of help you when, you need to actually hold the comb this way, and here's why this isn't going exactly the way you want it to. I've had a lot of people come to the wigwork classes who've said, yeah, I've read the book, I've watched your YouTube video where you do literally this exact same thing, and this is so different. I finally get it. Yeah. I think there's cosplay, there is so much that is very accessible now, but there's something about having the personalized experience and getting that aha moment when someone can really guide you and correct, what you're doing.
Exactly. 100% agree.
Yeah, I agree. Being able to sometimes help people adjust their tension if they're, doing something weird with their hands on a sewing machine, or give a note in the moment, can really help somebody actually be like, oh my gosh, I've always been doing it this way, and that's the wrong way, and now I know how to do it because I was holding my needle wrong, or whatever, And I think that there's a lot more that you can gain from the hands-on in-person portion than just a YouTube video. With that being said, though, a lot of people still do great with YouTube videos. Like, our community is so good at learning things from YouTube. It's awesome. But there's that special little thing that people can learn from hands-on that you can't get from a tutorial or a video or even a book.
And I'll also add too.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to add that I think that it's great to have different opportunities to learn things in different formats. Like, everyone has a different learning style. Everyone has a different way of attacking something that, might not resonate with somebody else. So being able to ask questions live before you get frustrated or before you want to give up, I think is a really important element of having these in-person workshops. How many times have you sat through a YouTube tutorial and you functionally get it, but you just they're stuck. There's something in your brain that's just like not clicking, and you have a quick question you just want to be able to ask, and you can't do that virtually all the time. And sometimes that is okay. You're able to like take a pause, take a beat, and figure it out. But sometimes you just really need to get that question asked, so that way you can move forward and progress. So I think having opportunities both virtually and in person help cater to a variety of different learning styles. And as instructors in person too, we can kind of slow down, reteach something, explain something in a different way, use examples, make a joke, something that will help you internalize and understand the method a little bit easier.
I can say from experience as someone who's learning how to do these things, and Casey has gotten my hectic calls and like random videos and pictures where I'm like, what am I doing? I need to understand this. I'm a very much hands-on learner. I have been scouring my area for classes, and it's just been so hard. I mean, it's like I'm starving out here. I'm like, I need hands-on help. Casey we had a sewing day.
Come to my house.
I'm like, there's a lot of things that just make more sense for me. I've watched videos and it doesn't click. I wish I was that kind of a learner. So like, I have to be hands-on myself, and I'm trying. I've made some things, but
you've made things. We're proud of you.
Yeah, and I'm jealous of all these classes we put together, because I'm like, I want to take every single one of these multiple times.
I think there's something to be said too about not just, yes, you're getting the benefit of a live instructor, but you're getting the benefit of being in a classroom with everybody else who's learning it at the same time. So, you're like, oh, wait, what did she say? What are you doing? Oh, okay. And you can help each other. And one of my favorite things is like watching people become friends as like over the class, and like, people come in and they're just like, oh, hi, what, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, okay. What are you learning this for? Sasuke. I love Sasuke. And then it's just, it's so wholesome.
Yes.
I love it.
And then especially when you find like the no corner of the group, like they didn't know each other, and then somehow in the process of the class, they become like the naughty corner. Like something goes on with that table. I don't know. It happens every class I've ever walked into. They're like, oh, we got the troublemakers over here or over there. I'm like, really again?
Kayla, that was me and Sebastian in the paint class.
Oh,
yes, it was. I heard about y'all.
I was being so loud and asking like every question. I need a lot of help. Like, I really will pay premium for hands-on one-on-one.
Side story real quick. At all of my Sew Magical Expos, we have a teacher vendor appreciation night where I provide desserts and drinks for everybody. And one of the things we sometimes do is a paint class, and it's supposed to be relaxing before the chaos of the event. And who finds it the most stressful thing ever is Sebastian over there. Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, dude, just paint something. It's okay. It's supposed to be fun.
I struggled a bit.
All right. So another question that we got was, and this is a really important question. So can folks crossplay in Asheville? Yes. I've gotten this question from a couple different aspects. Is Asheville, North Carolina, a safe place for people of different backgrounds? And yes, it is. We haven't seen any issues at all with this location. It's a very friendly location of all people, of all types. So if that is a concern of yours, again, please message me directly and we can talk through any of your concerns. I'm happy to help you however we can to make you feel comfortable. But yes, it is a very friendly place. And Sebastian, I feel like we've had this conversation before as well, because this was kind of important in our conversations of picking location too, was to making sure it was inclusive. And
I've definitely been around the town there, and it's definitely pretty safe to like you said, all backgrounds.
All backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Yep. We love it. Somebody said, as a local, yes and no, use your normal safety discretion. And I would say that from any sort of town, right? Like, don't go walking around at night by yourself. But yeah,
safety in numbers. Safety in numbers always.
Safety in numbers always. I think that goes for any event or convention that you go to, right?
Yep.
Somebody asked, have you guys considered reaching out to DC Cosplay Photo in terms of location scouting? I don't believe we have, but we'll talk about photography a little bit here in a minute. I know we're coming up on an hour, so I'm really wondering if Instagram's going to cut us off or not. So I think we got through the important stuff at least, in case it does cut us off. In case it does cut us off in the next minute, does anybody have something like really important that they wanted us to cover before we head over to like more Q&A and photography stuff? Love the silence. And for once, the only person not muted is Scone.
Like making sure they're like heard.
I was kidding. You don't have to mute yourself. All right. So I think we hit all the questions from Instagram. If we see any more come in, please drop those in there. I got a couple of comments on my Instagram that says, I consider all of you makers and engineers. And somebody said that they've taken in-person classes with most of these educators and they're all amazing. Everyone is going to leave class very inspired.
That's awesome.
And everybody seems really excited about the Biltmore as well. All right. So, okay, great. I think I'm caught up on my Instagram comments. So real quick, I will start talking about photography. And y'all can jump as well whenever you want. So this is a very wordy image. It's on our website as well. So if you want to read through this in depth, this is also available on the Biltmore Estate website. So we don't get any special treatment coming to the Biltmore. However, they're very aware that we're coming and they're very excited. We're getting, it's because we're a large group. Of course, we had to make sure that everything was okay, that we're coming there. I know there's a lot of concern and questions about, is there going to be issues with if I have a big ball gown, or, is there going to be issues with us taking a group photo and all this stuff? We asked all those questions in excessive amount.
Multiple times in like every way possible.
And then I got the questions from Sebastian and everybody else. I was like, trust me, all the questions have been asked and they know. So I will say this too, when I was touring the grounds of Biltmore and we were looking at different places on site, there was somebody she looked like she was maybe in early 19th century garb with her little tripod stand, I will caveat that. And she was taking her photos in the gardens and she was like all in it. And I was with the salesperson. I said, is that normal? And they said, it happens on occasion. It is not against the rules. They are more than welcome to. So they're excited to see everybody kind of in whatever costumes and cosplays they come in. So I will say this, there is a lot more restrictions with inside the Biltmore Estate than there is on the grounds. You're going to have a lot better time getting all the photos you can think of on the grounds, aka outside the doors of the Biltmore Estate, than you are going to be on the inside. And that is heavily because the Biltmore Estate is a historic building. There's a lot of historic furniture and things in there, and it's also an ongoing tour. You are going to get with your ticket you can get a headset and you can do the self-guided tour and all that. So you will be able to walk through it on your own or with a group if you want. We do have a set time that we will be going in for that house tour. If you would like to go inside the house, you don't have to, but it is included. And you have that ability to walk around. You can take photos inside within limitations. All that's kind of listed there. And you just can't impede the flow of traffic. Great news, though. We're going to be the last tour going into the building that day. I kind of try to plan it out that way. So that way, most of the people have left. So towards the end of our tour time that we're allowed to be inside the house, we do have less people that aren't in our group. So the people that are going to be there are going to be, folks you've been taking classes with. So you can help each other take photos and do all that fun stuff. As for the side of this where we do have the paid photography experience, we are still narrowing down those details and the exact photographer. So we're hoping to be able to officially announce all those details very soon to y'all. But that's going to be, there's you have the ability to take the photos yourself and all that, but there's going to be the ability to as well to have a secure time slot with a professional photographer who will take next level of photos of your cosplays as well. So more details on that to come. But if you're curious about what it looks like when you're at Biltmore, what that ticket includes and all that, please read through this. Also, the Biltmore estate, the grounds and everything isn't just that area that you kind of see. It's like if you look through all these photos, there's so much. There is a shuttle that runs over the grounds, and it can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to get to certain spots on there. So it's something that kind of think through if you're going to go and do this. Try to plan out, do your research of what the Biltmore estate and grounds look like in the different areas and what you might be interested in taking photos at, because and then plan to try to hit those shuttles and do all that during that time. Again, more details on what our time at Biltmore would look like as we get closer, but to give you the guidelines, here's the whole oomph of it. Also, we get a complimentary wine tasting as well, and if you're driving yourself, we get complimentary parking as well. So lots of different things that are included in that. So I don't see anybody seeing any questions on Instagram related to photography by chance.
I wanted to add while we're looking for questions that I've been to the estate a few times, and I know a few good spots that I think would make for really great photography. I've been through the tour quite a few times on the inside. This is going to be in April, so things are going to be in bloom, and they have some really beautiful gardens. They also have a really amazing greenhouse that is packed. I mean, this greenhouse, there's no room for anything. It's just so many plants, and they're colorful, and they're always in kind of different blooms are occurring at any time.
So
I would-
I'm going to steal you, Sebastian, when I'm there.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Everybody's now going to be grabbing at Sebastian. Show me.
Show me the cool place. There is also like what I think it's called like an Italian garden. It's really beautiful. It's got like vines and stuff, and it's got really cool statues. So it looks like you are in Italy, right? Because it's an Italian looking garden. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and I will say that all the photos that I pulled here, except for the top one, were from their spring section. I can never remember spring and fall. Spring section. If you go onto the Biltmore website, you can actually go to, there's an area on there. It's like About Us or something. You can click to see what their typical bloomage and floral looks like during the season and months that you're going. And they also typically have some sort of exhibit going on as well, art or statues or things of that nature. So you can kind of click through all that on their website. Oh, that's a great point. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say someone asked about what is commercial
photography. I was going to go through that. So commercial photography, and we get this question a lot because people freak out. They're like, but I have a business and I have an Instagram channel for my cosplay. Is that commercial? As long as you're not doing it to make money off of the imagery that you're taking of the estate, you're fine, to put it in a very broad term. So
don't use them as prints. Like you can't use these images as cosplay prints that you sell at your booth.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And if you want to, you just have to ask permission from the Biltmore Estates to do so. Because what they want to do is they want to protect the imagery of the estates and how it looks. And so they just want to approve it. So if you want to go that route and use these for prints or for actual commercial use in a video that you're filming for actual commercial or for something that you're going to use later for paid usage, then please go ahead and reach out to me at support@sewmagicalexpo.com. I do have the email that you would reach out to directly at the Biltmore Estates and give you the ability to ask permission for that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they just want to protect the image of the Biltmore and the estate itself. So it's not necessarily like a ban on anything commercial. It's just making sure everything is sealed tight, I guess.
Yeah.
And just as a quick note, so there's an official photographer who will be available for tons and tons and tons of shoots, but there's actually also other local cosplay photographers from this area who've let me know that they fully intend to come and take pictures at this beautiful place. I'm going to wait for her to actually announce her shoot schedule and signups. But we've shot a lot with her, and she's just simply fantastic. So there will definitely be other photographers available for you to book with.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's going to be so there will be the main channel through us. And then again, there'll be some others who will be available who have that that skill set and who can help you out as well if this photographer books up as yes. Just to clarify, are we okay to participate in the interior tour in cosplay? Yes. They
Absolutely.
are fully aware and know that our group is coming most likely 100% in full cosplay. And I told them, I was like, are you sure? Like, we're talking full ball gowns, we're talking headpieces, we're talking the full shebang here. And they said, we're excited. I normally work from home. I think a bunch of us are going to come and work in the office that day because they want to experience it as well. So yes, they're fully on board with it. I don't know, Sebastian, it's been a while since I've done the inside tour. Can you speak to if there's any narrow areas that might be just would have to
It's
putting a ball
pretty.
gown into an elevator situation?
No, unless you need. I don't think actually the house has an. I don't think there's an elevator. It's a big place, and the hallways are pretty wide. There's really not many spaces that are narrow. There is a like sub basement, but even that is pretty spacious to get through. I don't think also that anybody's coming in anything so large. Um, there are ramps. We'd have to look. I saw a question there about mobility issues and ramps. Um, I know there's ramps and stuff. I just don't know about the inside of the home, how accessible it's been made, because it is a historical home and it was built, I think, late 1800s. We'd have to look into that, Kayla, and see what's accessible within the home itself. Any building that isn't part of the home is accessible, and the grounds are more accessible, and there are ramps to get around.
Yeah. And I will say this, that's a great point is so for our retreats, typically what I do about 2 weeks before the event, I send out a Google form to all the participants and I ask some basic questions that you can say NA to or give me as much information as you want. But because we provide food and because we want to provide you the best experience possible, I always ask, do you have any ADA concerns or anything where we will need to make sure that you have assistance in the class, whether it's visual, physical, you name it. We'll figure out a way to help you out with it. And I'll make sure that the location, both the hotel and Biltmore, is aware of that, but also any food concerns, if you have any food restrictions at all as well. So we typically send that out about a week and a half to 2 weeks before the event to make sure we've got everybody that's coming and I don't miss anybody, and we accommodate as best as we can.
And someone posted a link to what is accessible and what is not so much on site.
Let me see if I can get that in the comments for everybody who's watching. I know it posted on my YouTube. Normally it posts on all the channels, but I don't know if it went or not. But there is on the Biltmore website, biltmore.com/help-center/accessibility.
Yeah. So it does say the first and second floor are accessible, but because of the historic nature, the third and above that are not as accessible to mobility. Anybody who has any mobility issues.
Yeah. That's a great question, though. Let's see. Any other questions? I'm double checking to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so fun question time for the teachers. All right, and y'all can go in any order you want. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Okay, so, and this was prompted by, I'm going to ask you because now I'm concerned I'm saying it wrong. Is it Regan or Reagan?
Regan.
Regan? Okay, thank you. It makes me feel better. Somebody else was probably thinking it. You know it. Okay, so Regan brought this up as a fun question to ask, and I think it is a really good one, is how do y'all determine what classes that you want to bring to either a convention or an event like this? Like, what's your thought process here? Everybody's face.
I feel that.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna peel back the curtain a little bit.
Go ahead.
What kind of prompted this, and maybe this will help give people ideas. I was kind of thinking, you know, what is it that makes a good workshop? Because, you know, we all want to bring something that people can learn from, and that it's an obtainable skill in a short period of time, and it's a reproducible skill. And, you know, the idea of what makes a good workshop is very, very different from what makes a good panel. And that's like an interesting difference that, you know, I find that very interesting to discuss. And this came up because somebody recently asked us, hey, can you do 8 workshop topics? And I went, you don't understand what a workshop is, do you? That's an awful lot of different topics that you're talking about a panel.
Yeah.
So this was kind of my thought for, you know, how do we as educators who are really into workshops decide what makes a great workshop rather than a great discussion topic?
Yeah.
I think for me, one, do I know how to do it? Which I think is important, because I think what's great about this team of workshop hosts and educators is that we know how to do the thing. I don't know if you've ever been to workshops before where maybe it's clear the instructor has maybe done the thing one time, and then it's maybe not as you don't get this in-depth information that you might get from someone who may have experienced using the product multiple times, or has broken enough times to where you can help actually prevent pitfalls. Something else I think about is access to materials. I think, you know, all of us have biffed or broken a thing that was very expensive. And I think because we have that experience with the material, it makes it a lot more accessible for folks to get to break it in class versus getting to buy the bulk thing and then break it at home. And then you're out, you know, a lot of money and maybe not even satisfied with the result. And then the last thing I think about is, you know, what's like something different or interesting, particularly with cosplayers. I think we're always just looking for cool ways to add additional pizzazz or something like more personal or interesting in cosplay, right? And that's so uniquely personal to folks. And I think getting to explore that in a workshop of like, hey, you know what, I'm making Sasuke, because that's the character that I think du jour. I'm making a Sasuke today. What can I do to use this technique for my Sasuke? Or like, I want to incorporate it in this way. And I think getting someone who's also a fellow creative, someone who's probably done something similar, or who can help you walk your way through applying the technique to your character or to your purpose is just a really fun way to engage in working with stuff. So that's my thought process, I think, if I answered the prompt correctly, Regan.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to make this so complicated.
No. I think it's a good question. I definitely think there's a huge difference between panels and workshops. And so I hope folks who are thinking about attending recognize that difference. This is, I think, just a better way to engage with content that you're going to be applying than you can sometimes get from a panel. So I think it's a good question.
For me, it starts with something that I actually like doing. Like, you will never ever see me do anything with foam or paint, because I don't like doing either of those things. But it does. It always starts with something that I like doing, and something that I get a lot of questions about. And then it goes from there. But like what I ultimately decide is a workshop and not a panel is, for me, panels are more like the theory of, and a workshop is the practice. So like, I'll do a 45-minute talk on like embellishments, but I'll still at the end of the day say, you want to take a workshop with me and spend 2 hours actually doing the embellishing, because I can talk about materials, where to buy them, what the techniques are called, what different techniques are good for different fabrics all day long. But I like to also be able to give people the opportunity to physically do the thing and also ask questions as they do it. And so I think that that's kind of how I decide, like, oh, what's going to be a workshop versus what's going to be a panel. And then also, like, if it's just me versus, like, say Scone and I were to do like just a panel and talk about corsetry, we could do that. If we were only given 45 minutes, we could talk 45 minutes and fill every minute without having a single question. But if like that isn't accessible to the convention to do a workshop, then like we do a panel instead. So it just really depends on, I guess, like the medium, but I do prefer hands-on to almost anything. I don't want to talk about it. I want to go and do it.
And I think that's how most people's brains work. I don't know. That's kind of generalist. That's probably not true. But I do think in the creative space that we live in, most people are hands-on because we are creators. So maybe I'll go with that route. And I would say from my perspective as an event owner, but I also teach as well occasionally, is I find that everything is more successful with workshops because they can ask those questions and get that one-on-one time with the teachers and really work through their mistakes in that hands-on class. And it's funny because in the convention world they call it workshop versus panels. We call them, it's hands-on versus presentation. And even Sebastian and I, when we were talking about the classes, I was like, that's a sewing class, that's a no-sew class. He's like, well, they're maker classes. And we had to work through terminologies like that. But it's so funny that you said, well, no, that's not a workshop. 8 workshops you're asking for. Those are panels. So it's funny working through that.
Yeah, and actually, if I can add just a little bit here, myself as a data nerd, we've been collecting information about what attendees want. So after we do an event, we send out these surveys, and then I talk to the educators and I say, hey guys, this is what was said to us. This is what people are looking for. How can we incorporate that? We kind of, as event coordinators, as Kayla and I kind of put things together, is we kind of shop around with the educators like, hey, what can you do? And what I love about y'all is that you're all so flexible with it. I can say, this is what I have. This is what we're kind of thinking. And then it's like in a few days, you send me a whole lesson plan. And I'm like, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Let's do this.
Yes, it's been so easy and amazing to work with each one of y'all. So just thank you. Okay. I got a quick question. Yeah, I got one and this is kind of side topic, I guess. But can we bring some of these classes to SME Orlando, which is Sew Magical Expo in Orlando? And I would love to. Casey was one of our first official cosplay teachers. We've had kind of cosplay classes in the past, but Casey came as the official cosplay teacher in Tennessee last year. So we're hoping this year we get more of that. I've got a couple applications in for some cosplay teachers. I'm excited about. So yes, we're always looking to add more cosplay to Sew Magical Expo because it is a all-around makers convention. So we've got sewing from garment making, bag making, general randomness, fiber arts, epoxy, rhinestoning. We're trying to get foam work back in. We've got leather working. We've got industrial sewing machine classes. I'm trying to get more cosplay specific classes in there. So we're trying, hopefully. This is my selfish part of doing this retreat for Sebastian and Britt and Famore and trying to bring their dreams to life is because I want the space between conventions and the sewing world to come, the sewing and crafting world to come together and see that there is a safe place for makers in the convention world, the Comic-Con world, to come and get that education, but in a makers only world versus not just about all the other things that come with Comic-Con, such as the celebrities and panels and all that chaos.
Yeah. There's a lot of distractions and your feet get really tired walking around any kind of convention.
Yes.
And we are working on some, there's some things that we're in talks for. I know some folks are saying, what's might be next or what other things could be happening. We're in talks for some really big stuff. So hopefully by next year there will be, it'll be adjacent to the retreat.
I'm so excited.
We just can't say anything about it till something is more solid. That's all I could really say about it. But there's more coming from the Famore folks and from the Sew Magical folks. And hopefully we can incorporate more of our educators that we've worked with in the past.
Oh, yeah. All right. Does anybody else in here see anything from the Insta world? I'm not seeing any. Let me make sure. Okay, and then real quick, every teacher's got to answer this. Go around the room. Tell me one interesting fact about yourself. And it can be cosplayer. I sent this in the email earlier. I was trying to give y'all a heads up too. Pro's like, yeah, I saw it.
This will probably get me canceled for life, but I like the taste of orange juice after you brush your teeth.
Ew.
I know. I like it. It's
No.
just like so bright and refreshing. I know.
Oh no.
I know.
I was really concerned where you were going when you said
I
it.
know. I was like, what do you mean?
Like, oh my god, what is she about to say on this live?
That's my
Okay.
fun fact and confessional.
My fun fact is I've been bullied into cosplaying a snake man for my next costume. So that's where I'm at right now.
Are you happy about being bullied into this or not?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it. Is the snake man from a certain thing?
Yeah, it's from Has-Been Hotel. He's the worst character.
What is
And he's a
this?
snake.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna be the snake.
So I'm gonna do Rosie. Hello.
You want to do? We're doing a big group at Dragon Con. You want to come to Dragon? You want to do it at Dragon Con?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
it this one? Sir,
Yes, she's gonna be.
Only if I
Sir
can go, hello, Rosie. Well, hello.
You know who Scone's gonna be?
Who?
St. Peter.
Okay.
It's gonna be a mess, and I'm gonna be a little snake man.
I'm gonna have. I've been seeing a lot of people sharing about this show. Apparently, I need to go watch it. What is it on? Where can I watch this? thing?
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. Gonna go on Amazon now. Sebastian's like, okay, another one we have to go. Because we're always
Homework.
kind of sometimes at conventions. Like, I don't know what it looks amazing. I just don't
It's
know.
okay. So we did Katsucon this show just came out a month ago. We were at Katsucon last weekend, and like there was
We were at Katsucon 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was last weekend.
That's technically this past weekend. is
Okay,
last
past weekend.
Yes.
No,
there-
it's you're right.
There
you're
was
right.
there was so much has been, and it's only been a month, so it's
Wow.
gonna explode.
The show is called Has Been Hotel. It's an animated series
Yeah.
on Amazon.
It is definitely
IBAN, right?
IB
B-I-N.
HAB
HAZBIN.
Okay. There you go. We'll
Join
get
us next week when we learn to spell.
All right. Con, your turn.
Ooh, okay. Okay, a fun fact. This is an embarrassing fact. So many moons ago, I was traveling to the UK, and the person taking my order couldn't understand me, couldn't understand my American accent. So I had to switch to a British accent, a fake British accent, and then he understood me. I have never been more mortified in my life than that moment. Terrible accents, but for whatever it was, that got in my cappuccino. So
That's amazing. Can you say the sentence that you said to him?
I will not. I will not do that. Not doing it.
I had to try.
It was mortifying. That was the only thing I could come up with on the fly. I'm willing to do mortifying things for coffee.
I love it. All right, Casey.
I'll just, I did a figure skating for a really long time, and I think it'd be really fun to ice skate with the cosplay on. I guess that's it. That's my fun fact. Is I
I
did.
didn't know you figure skated.
Yeah. One of those many things my mom signed me up for to, I don't know,
Just get you to do something.
just to get me out of the house. I'm from Arizona, mind you, if that adds any context.
I have an idea for you, Casey. Just remind me to tell you after.
Yeah, okay. I will. I'll take it.
All right, let's go.
My fun fact is I'm like perusing my cart on Mood Fabrics right now, and it's only swatches, and it's $75. And I'm like,
What are you doing?
I don't know. I've lost control of my life.
Regan's like, stop it. We need to discuss
Respect,
this.
though.
Okay, these swatches are $350.
I know.
How many
Like, how do
swatches?
you have $75 of swatches?
It sounds
I don't know. I guess this is not a fun fact. This is a sad fact, but
It's planning, Regan.
yeah,
Here, I'm gonna make it even sadder because I know what she's shopping for, and it's for her third outfit for her D&D bard. So
I love it. It's so great.
Called out.
Yep.
Kayla, what's your fun fact?
No, I was gonna. Sebastian, what's your fun fact, buddy?
I'm gonna go with a easy one. I have a birthmark in my eye, and most people ask a lot of weird questions about it.
That's not a fun fact. We all know it's there.
Most people don't know it's there till I mention it.
In
That's
your
it.
eye?
Yep. See,
Oh.
she didn't know, and we've talked in face to face.
Okay, I guess so. I'll take it. Fine. That was way too easy. I feel like next time we're doing a live, you gotta do something.
I don't know. I sharpen scissors. I don't know. You know, like
Sharpen scissors. That's my job
Fun-
description.
yeah. Fun fact. That's it. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I'm muting myself now.
I guess mine would be I've recently become known at a convention as the crocheted peen lady. So as I know, I'm a maker myself, and the only reason I started a makers based convention and retreat and events company is because I've ADHD craft all over the place, and I wanted to bring that to everybody else. So one of my spur things I'm doing right now is I've gotten back to crocheting, and amigurumi. I can't say the word. Amigurumi.
Amigurumi.
Thank you. What she said. But it's stuffies in crocheted form, and so this is the last one I just made. So cute. But this was a custom order, and I was so happy to make it. And but yeah, I had a whole top shelf of these, and what we called plug buddies. They were what you think they are, and I kept them on the top shelf for a reason. But yeah, we sold out of them at MegaCon after Friday afternoon, so a day and a half. And people came by and said, "Oh no, your peas are all gone." So I was and putting them up. So I got a lot of people coming by like, "Are you the crocheted peen lady? Can I get one?" And
Kayla, you have a new vertical. You have a new job opportunity for yourself.
It's the best. I love making them so much. I don't even know where the other ones are right now.
I have to show you the anatomical one that I have.
Oh no! Did you see the TikTok video I made? I made one that was had a scarf.
I've seen those.
Yeah, so this is the other one that somebody ordered. It's so cute. But yeah, so that's my fun fact is I crocheted penises. Oh man, I'm in for the word. Dang it. Sorry. Yeah, so thanks for everybody coming on tonight. Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about here before we hop off? Anybody have any other questions before we conclude this evening? I've got nothing on my end. I'm getting no's.
Yeah.
Everybody else? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm so thrilled for our very first ever Enchanted Cosplay getaway and these amazing, amazing teachers. There's 2 classes we didn't talk about that were from Sew. That is pattern making and pattern modification. They are what they sound like. They're going to be super exciting and fun as well. You can find all this information and more at this link. What?
I was just link in bio. Link is there. Sorry, I know I don't show excitement hardly ever, and it scared everybody. Let me mute myself again.
I was deer in headlight for a second, but yeah, go to sewmagicalexpo.com/Enchanted Cosplay Getaway. You can also find it in the retreat section of the website as well if you want to navigate that way. All the information's there. You can find all the class descriptions there. Class signups are available. There are descriptions on how you sign up and get your 2 free classes, plus any additional ones you want to do. There are limited spots in the classes as well as in the event itself. So please get on that as soon as you can. The hotel does have a cutoff for the discounted hotel rooms. So if you can't make that, please let me know. Again, if you ever need anything at all, support at sewmagicalexpo.com is where you go. We've got you. We're here to help. You can also reach out to the teachers, and they've been fielding in questions to me as well. So if you want to reach out to them, they're amazing. And thank you all. Have a great night. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right.